Hi, I'm Lenny LaCour,
I'm Dr. Robert Heller.
and this is Rockin' Success. And today we're going to talk about delegating.
Delegating, that has got to be the hardest thing for most managers and people. Remember that executive we talked to? And he kept on saying if people would only follow what I'm asking them to do. So it's like when we talk about delegation, we have to think about him and so many other people. Is how do you get people to do what you ask them to do?
Well, how about the number of people who continuously say, if you ask them what keeps them up at night is why do they have to finish whatever they delegate to someone else? The people never finish it.
Yeah, so we got to talk about choosing the right person and about how we communicate to what is needed, because a lot of times it's that, don't you think?
No.
What do you think it is then, Lenny? Because we need to talk about important things.
So don't you find it interesting that everybody that we ever talk to is upset at their staff because they can't find the right people to delegate things to? That they always have to finish what everyone else starts?
Because maybe they don't assign the chores in enough detail so that person can actually follow through. You know, I'm busy. I'll ask somebody to do something without sufficient information. It's like I'm setting up for failure and then I get disappointed. So what are the advantages of delegating anyway?
Accomplishment, success, moving on, knowing, getting things done. There's a reason things just don't get done. It's because they've been delegated to the wrong person.
Right. So don't you think somebody who's not a good delegator would finally get it when they find themselves cleaning the dishes every night when everybody else goes home?
But possibly that person shouldn't be the delegator.
Yeah, right. So what are the benefits of delegation? Is that you get the job done, that you are developing the skills of your subordinates, that your communications are clear and they give you feedback about, do they understand what they're supposed to do?
So because you are the therapist, could you go through a few of these delegating issues that we've been talking about lately that come up in so many conversations? Can I ask you a few questions and maybe you could go through a few issues for people to consider?
Great.
So what's the trick to being a good delegator?
I think it's giving really clear directions, making sure that they understand it, and give deadlines. This is what I expect. This is, what do you need? What kind of resources do you need? I'm going to come back and check on you, not to check on you like I'm looking over your head. Make sure you got the information you need and everything is clear. I'm sure you've been in a situation that you start working on something and the person says, that's not what I meant at all. So clear directions, clear deadlines, getting the right resources, and rewarding the person for doing it.
If the delegator has all the responsibility, and then they stay up at night because people aren't accomplishing half of the things.
Good point. You have to give the person responsibility and authority to get the job done.
Does delegating make me look weak, like I can't do the job myself?
No, I think it's an opportunity. I think that's how we frame things. It's like, this is the skills that I see you capable of. I'd like to give you a chance to do something a little different. And so you look at it as a building of skills, not of a demotion of some kind.
You know, I think that sometimes people think that when people delegate to other people, as you've heard many employees say, I have to do my boss's job.
Well, they may not understand what's the benefit to them. You know, if I go tell you to go do something, you go, yeah, you know, I can't do it, so you're going to do it. But if you let them, if you communicate what the benefit is to them, one, and two, they buy into it and they say yes, and they see the benefit of doing this task, then you're going to have a good outcome. You just have to make sure you've picked the right person to do it.
And how do I do that?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but one is understanding their personality, their skills, their thinking, and their behavior. So you can look at past behavior. You can look at their progression. how similar is this, what you're asking them to do, to something they've done in the past?
Uri, with our past and with our research and speaking to different people, that's how we came about the core motivation analysis. And it really is a tool that we use and we hope other people use to find out who's already within their organization, or who they're coaching, or who they're consulting, who they already have. It really wasn't meant to be a recruiting tool. It was meant to be a communication tool, so you understand who the person is, so you can delegate responsibly.
Yeah, right. To get the organizational intelligence to be able to make decisions, then you can delegate more wisely. That's how I would put it.
We're just pushing forward a piece of history, a very respected theory that has been around and very respected in the psychology community, to push people forward so that they can simply understand, not extensively to a point where they need a therapist to read through the program, but where people can simply tell you who they are and how you can group the people together so you can more effectively delegate.
And it's made simple. It's an automated system that helps really answer the questions that you have. So you don't have to stay up all night and worry. You can actually have a question and get an answer. So Lenny, you give me an example of your own experience about what was the toughest delegation role or task that you had to take.
Okay, here you go. So someone on this board actually, in front of the whole board on a call, said to me, "You are the worst delegator I have ever seen." I was shocked, stunned. I was speechless. So when you're dealing with people who are somewhat like-minded on a level in an organization, it's very important to take the time to listen to each one, but that person also has to listen to you and learn who you are.
You know, that is such a typical problem with boards, is getting high-powered people who are used to delegating, and they're responsible for getting stuff done. So I'm feeling for you. It must have been really difficult. How'd that make you feel?
Very unsettled, which is not usually part of my personality, because I don't usually put myself in a position to be uncomfortable like that. Uncomfortable is not a word I like very much, because it doesn't have anything happy for the moment. And so
Right.
you try very hard to listen to people and have empathy for what they're saying to you. But it also reminded me that it's very good to be very direct to people, or it's very good to be direct with people, but always be kind about how you say it.
Yeah.
And it's always strong to have one-on-one conversations, not to say something like that in front of an entire group of people that respect you.
I think the point is too, is that there wasn't a lot of buy-in on their part.
The person simply wanted to be the boss, and they were a totally controlling human being.
So, Lenny, when that board member kind of singled you out in front of everybody else, how did the board members act after that?
The other board members were silent, speechless, which was very unlike them. And the meeting was over very shortly. And half of them called me immediately after, or texted me and asked why this person would have done that on a call.
Right.
So it was one person who wanted control, and they were being direct, but they were being mean at the same time. And that just isn't something that you do to other humans.
So it's kind of interesting. What you're saying is that this guy wanted to be king, so to speak. And so he really was disrespectful, not only to you, but all the other board members. You know, I can imagine how exasperating it was to have that board member kind of call you out. And I'm so happy that we created the core motivation analysis, because you could have known what his personality is, and he could have understand yours likewise. And so the communication between the two of you might have looked a lot different. But, you know, knowing somebody's personality and what they need from each other cuts out so much of the wasted time. Is that, like, going back to delegating, people understand what needs to be done. They know what the deadlines are. They understand that they're qualified to do it and capable, and they're doing it for growth reasons. It's the knockdown reasons of why delegation can work.
I believe that we learn from everything in life. That's what's brought us to this point. What we've created here has happened from life's experiences, from passion, from the heart, from looking at other people and listening to other people. And sometimes, hopefully, it's a healthy, happy life, and sometimes you take a little pain.
So here's my challenge. The challenge is we're all in different situations. How could you gather that information to make your life more successful and better and, oh yeah, satisfied? That's what our goal is.
That's what's led us to this point. That's why we're sitting here discussing life's journeys, how to move forward, how to help people know other people, how to create conversations and make the world much more communicative without having to go through all the pain.
Sounds like rockin' success. So we've got a lot of other podcasts coming up. We could read your future if you want. We can look at not just delegation, but how do you develop your own skills? How do you do an assessment of your own abilities and what you need? What's the gap? How do you relate to other people? How do you make your boss your friend and actually want you to succeed?
Wait, can you make your boss your friend?
I think you can. An ally, at least.
All right. Well, thanks for listening in.
This is Rockin' Success.
Let's keep talking.